They say you should never mix family and business. I wish I had listened. I helped build my family's company from the ground up, pouring every ounce of my soul into it. We were a team, a unit, bound by blood and ambition. But when greed slithered into the boardroom, I learned that blood isn't always thicker than water or money. This is the story of how my own family turned their company against me, and how I fought back not with revenge, but with resilience. For years, that company was my entire world. We started in a cramped little office with outdated computers and an endless supply of cheap coffee that tasted more like determination than anything else. My father was the visionary leader, my mother kept the books balanced, and my sister and I were in the trenches, handling operations and keeping clients happy. It was chaotic, it was stressful, but it was ours. We were building a legacy, something we believed would stand for generations. I gave everything to that dream. I was the one who landed the game-changing clients, the one who navigated us through financial storms, often sacrificing my personal life just to keep the ship afloat. I truly believed we were invincible together. But then, success happened. The money started pouring in, our name gained recognition, and slowly, cracks began to appear in our foundation. My father, once our steadfast guide, started valuing the opinions of outsiders, consultants and investors, more than his own children. My sister, who had always been my closest confidant and partner in crime, suddenly saw me as a rival. Our collaborative brainstorming sessions devolved into tense, strategic battles. The warmth that once filled our office was replaced by a chilling corporate coldness. I felt the shift, but I never could have predicted the betrayal that was coming. It happened on a Tuesday morning. I received a company-wide email with the subject line, "Organizational Restructuring." I casually skimmed through the jargon, assuming it was just another corporate shuffle. Then, my eyes froze. There, under a list of terminated positions, was my own name, my title, my life's work, reduced to a single bullet point. It had to be a mistake, a typo. My heart hammered against my ribs as I raced to my father's office, the email clutched in my shaking hand. "Dad, what is this?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Why am I being fired?" He wouldn't look at me. He just stared down at his desk, his shoulders slumped in defeat. "It's not my decision anymore," he mumbled. "The board voted. Your sister, she led the vote." In that moment, my world didn't just crack. It shattered into a million pieces. The people I loved, the family I had dedicated my life to, had just voted me out. No warning, no discussion, no reason given. Just a cold, clinical execution. I stood there, engulfed in a deafening silence, the realization washing over me like an icy wave. The business I had treated like a member of my own family no longer saw me as part of it. The days that followed were a blur of pain and confusion. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My mind just replayed that moment in my father's office over and over again. Every time I drove past our office building, that gleaming monument to our shared dream, it felt like I was passing by a gravestone. My own. I felt utterly broken, discarded by the very people I was supposed to trust unconditionally. But as the initial shock wore off, it was replaced by a different feeling, a spark, a quiet, burning resolve. I wasn't done. Instead of letting anger and bitterness consume me, I decided to channel it into something productive. They had taken my position, my office, my sense of belonging, but they couldn't take away my knowledge. I knew that company inside and out, every client's preference, every operational weakness, every untapped opportunity. With that knowledge as my only asset, I started my own firm. It was a tiny, lean operation, founded on the very principles my family had forgotten: honesty, loyalty, and putting people first. The beginning was brutal. I was a lone wolf going up against an established empire. Old contacts were hesitant, and potential investors laughed me out of the room. "How can you possibly compete with them?" they'd ask. But I didn't need to compete on their terms. I focused on what I did best. I didn't treat my clients like entries on a spreadsheet. I treated them like partners. I listened. I delivered. And slowly, but surely, the tide began to turn. Word got around. Clients started noticing the difference in service, in attention to detail, in the genuine care we provided. Within a year, my small, scrappy startup began to outperform my family's Goliath. The same investors who had dismissed me were now knocking on my door, eager to get in on the action. And then, the ultimate validation. One by one, talented employees from my old company started reaching out, wanting to join my team. They were tired of the toxic culture, the infighting, and the poor leadership that had taken hold after I left. My family's company, the one that had cast me out, was beginning to crumble from within. Their greed and lack of integrity had become their undoing. One evening, my phone rang. It was my sister. Her voice, usually so confident and sharp, was quiet, fragile, and laced with a tremor I hadn't heard since we were kids. "You won," she said, the words hanging heavy in the air between us. I took a long, deep breath, letting the moment settle. This wasn't a victory lap for me. "No," I replied, my voice calm and steady. "I didn't win. You just lost what mattered most. Family." In that conversation, I realized something profound. I hadn't set out to destroy their company as an act of revenge. I had built my own to prove to myself that integrity, passion, and respect will always, always outlast greed. Sometimes life has to strip everything away from you just so you can see what and who truly matters. Today, when I pass by that old office building, I don't feel bitterness or pain. I feel a quiet sense of pride. They turned their backs on me, but in doing so, they forced me to turn towards something far more powerful, my own self-respect. And that, my friends, is one position that no board, no family member, no one on this earth can ever vote you out of. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If it resonated with you in any way, I'd be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.